You're not failing at gardening because you forgot some magic trick. You're trying to grow food in a system that sells you dead soil, expensive inputs, and the feeling that if your tomatoes collapse in July, they make you think it must be your fault. Meanwhile, the grocery bill keeps climbing, weather swings harder every season, and a single bad week can leave shelves thin and produce tired before it even gets home. So people do what they've been taught to do: buy another bag, another bottle, another fix, and still the ground turns hard, dry, and lifeless. That is the trap. The modern garden economy trains you to think fertility comes in plastic. It tells you good soil is something you haul in, not something you build. It makes you pay for what nature has always made for free. Then acts surprised when you're exhausted, spending more and getting less. You kneel down, press your hand into the bed, and instead of that cool, crumbly softness plants love, it feels sealed over. Now here is the part most people never get shown. The raw materials of real fertility are sitting right around your house, just waiting to be headed for the trash. Delivery boxes, grocery cartons, dry leaves piled at the curb. Walk through a forest after rain, and you'll notice something no garden center can bag up. Nobody is out there tilling, fertilizing, or refreshing the woodland floor every weekend. Leaves fall, fibers stack. So think about what tilling really does. One pass with a shovel or rototiller looks productive. The bed looks clean, loose, and ready. But under that surface you've just torn apart fungal threads that took months to build. You exposed protected microbes to sun and air, and turned a living structure into something that collapses. It just collapses the next time it rains hard. Then the weeds come back, the soil crusts over, and suddenly you're told the answer is another input, more fertilizer. And the cruel part is it feels like your fault. Your tomatoes stall out, your lettuce bolts, your seedlings yellow, and you think you missed some secret. Usually, the secret is that the system was designed to make you dependent. Fast-feed fertilizer gives plants a quick hit, but it doesn't rebuild the underground workforce. Herbicides may clear the surface, but they don't create resilience. Premium garden soil in plastic bags can cost $28 or more. And after a few weeks in the sun, you're still out there watering, feeding, and troubleshooting, because the biology never really came back. That is why this method matters so much. You're not trying to dominate the ground. You're trying to stop damaging it long enough for life to return. No digging, no stripping off the grass, no tearing open the earth because somebody told you. That real gardening has to look violent before it looks productive. You lay plain cardboard right on the ground. And yes, plain matters. Skip the glossy stuff. Skip the heavy tape. Skip the boxes with coatings that refuse to break down. Simple brown cardboard is enough. Overlap the sheets by about 6 inches, so the aggressive weeds underneath don't find daylight through the seams. Then soak it. Really soak it. Wet cardboard settles, stays put, begins to soften, and starts becoming food instead of trash. What you're doing in that moment is the opposite of the chemical treadmill. Instead of exposing soil, you're covering it. Instead of breaking fungal highways, you're giving them a protected ceiling. Instead of paying for suppression in a bottle, you're smothering unwanted growth with a material your neighbors are usually happy to get rid of for free. Then on top of that, a thick layer of dry leaves, oak, maple, elm, whatever you've got. It becomes carbon for the microbes and a slow meal for worms already moving upward. It looks almost too simple, which is exactly why so many people overlook it. This is the part that feels almost too simple, so people skip past it. But this is where the real intelligence of the system shows up. If you crush that leaf layer flat, you don't get a living bed. You get a damp mat. Air has to move through it. And here is the forgotten rule most people were never taught. Diversity below ground starts with diversity above ground. A pile of only one kind of leaf breaks down on one timetable, with one texture, one chemistry, one pattern of decay. Mix different leaves together and the whole layer behaves differently. Some soften fast, some hold structure longer, some feed bacteria early, others feed fungi later. Instead of one flat material, you create a staggered buffet for the soil food web. Then comes the green layer, and this is where the visual really matters. Brown materials like leaves and cardboard are the frame. Green materials are the spark. Grass clippings, coffee grounds, carrot peels, lettuce scraps, and apple cores. These are the fresher, wetter pieces that carry the nitrogen microbes need to multiply. When you spread that layer on top, you're not feeding plants yet. You're feeding the workers that will feed the plants later. Worms move in where it stays cool and damp. Fungi thread through the layers like white stitching. Bacteria bloom where moisture and fresh scraps meet. What looks like scraps on the surface becomes traffic and exchange, digestion and storage underneath your feet. That is the part modern gardening forgot. Soil is not a brown substance you buy in bags. It is a relationship. Air, water, carbon, nitrogen, microbes, worms, fungal threads, all trading with each other in the dark. And when you build for that relationship, waste stops being waste. It becomes the beginning of fertility. So if you were standing in your yard right now, what do you have more of, dry browns or fresh greens? The strange part is this: the more you stop trying to manage the bed, the better it actually starts to perform. Once you've stacked those layers, build it a little taller than feels reasonable, about 12 to 18 inches, because it will sink as everything softens and settles. Brown layer, green layer, brown layer, green layer, dry leaves, grass clippings, kitchen scraps, whatever you actually have. Then cap it with a planting layer, about 4 to 6 inches of loose topsoil or finished compost. That top layer is your runway. Seeds want it fine and crumbly. Tomato or pepper starts just need a small pocket to tuck into. If buying compost is the only thing you spend money on, fine. But in a lot of places, even that can be found free, if you just check your local municipal compost programs. And then comes the part most gardeners get wrong. Water it well one last time and quit fussing with it. Don't dig through it to check progress. Don't flip layers around. Don't improve it every 3 days. Just let the pile do what a living system does. When you finally stop interrupting it, in the first couple of weeks it looks unimpressive from the surface. Honestly, it can look like nothing is happening at all. But underneath, the deal has already been signed. Microbes wake up. Fungi begin stitching materials together. Earthworms move in because you created shelter, food, and moisture in one shot. The cardboard starts to soften, and the leaves begin collapsing into the kind of dark, spongy material people pay for in bags. A month in, maybe 6 weeks, you notice the bed has dropped. Good, that is not failure. That is conversion. What used to be waste is becoming soil. Put your hand on it in the morning. It may even feel warmer than the ground around it. That gentle heat is the composting process itself, and roots love that kind of protected warmth. By the end of the season, the sheet of cardboard is gone. The leaves are unrecognizable. What is left is soft, dark, crumbly organic matter. It holds water longer, feeds life longer, and asks far less from you. That is the leverage point, not more fertilizer, not more digging, not more control. A sheet of cardboard, a pile of leaves, a layer of scraps, one thorough watering, and then restraint. Do a little less, and the system starts doing more. If you had to build one bed this week, with what is already around your home, what would your first free layer be? Here is the part most people miss. A bed like this is not just a cheap garden trick, it is insurance. While everyone else is staring at empty produce shelves, paying absurd prices for tired lettuce, or wondering what happens when the trucks stop for a week, you're walking outside with a basket. You lift the mulch, pull carrots from dark soil, cut greens that never came through a warehouse, and bring in food that is actually alive. That changes the feeling in your body. You're not waiting. So yes, build it this weekend if you can. Not because gardening is trendy, because resilience is practical, because dignity tastes better when it comes from your own ground. When panic hits, the real wealth is not in a receipt or a stocked cart.